All right. How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome back to LiveWire. This is Ray Gonzalez. The other two actually took a little vacay from work. Don't blame them so much. Blame the fact that it's August. Summer's over. The lineup is over. We finished the summer strong with Straight Outta Compton, and now the studios seem to be dumping all these crappy movies. We haven't had time to really catch up on all these movies. There's American Ultra, Hitman Agent 47, The Transporter coming out in a little bit, and it doesn't seem like anything of interest is coming out just yet. So even if we wanted to, I don't think we should review those movies, but we'll see in due time. Until September, that is, when September 18th or so, when I think Black Mass and a whole bunch of onslaught of quality films, or what we feel like they might be quality films, are coming. But let's get on with the show, man. Today we're gonna review a nice little indie movie. I guess you can consider it an indie movie. It's called No Escape. It's the new thriller with Owen Wilson and Lake Bell and Pierce Brosnan. Now I know what y'all thinking. Of course, it's Owen Wilson. You might remember him from all the comedy movies with Ben Stiller, Night at the Museum, Meet the Parents, Starsky and Hutch. He doesn't really do a lot of thrillers. He's mostly stuck in comedies and whatnot, unless you count Behind Enemy Lines. Well, at this point, I don't think a lot of people even remember. This movie is written and directed by the Dowdle brothers. You may not be well aware of who they are. They come from horror. They did Quarantine, and the movie last year was As Above, So Below. I didn't check that one out, but Quarantine was sufficient enough. And they are trying to handle something a little different. Now, I say a little bit because the way they go about this movie is almost like a horror film. Now, let's go into the story. You got Owen Wilson playing Jack Dwyer, who's married to the beautiful Lake Bell, and they got two beautiful daughters, and they go to Asia. Big problem with this movie apparently is that they didn't even want to name exactly where they filmed or the situation. Apparently, I thought it was filmed in Thailand, somewhere close to Vietnam, I think, because of the Vietnam border. But they don't ever mention the exact location of where they're in. They usually just say Asia. Welcome to Asia. I can't believe we're in Asia. So he's over there because of work, and he had to move his whole family. His family's not treating it very well. And this movie's fucking pretty crazy, bruh. Like, out of nowhere, this dude doesn't even spend 24 hours in the spot before all hell breaks loose around him. Apparently there's a political uprising going on, and there's a big revolution going on, and he's stuck in the middle of it, and he's trying to protect his family and get them out safely, because him being an American, they are the prime enemy of this revolution that's going on.
Lucy! 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 Get out of the pool! Come here! Get out of the pool! Come here!
Now, that's pretty much the basic outline of the story. Like I said, this movie has been getting into a lot of trouble because they consider it to be racist, racism, with the fact that they don't even want to mention where they filmed it because they might offend those people. A lot of people just think that that the Asians, let's just keep it at that, I guess, are considered stereotypes. And for the most part, people are right. It's either they're brutal bad guys that are trying to kill our loving American family, or they're kind of like sellouts who, like Americanized people that become little sidekicks to help out. So let's go into, I guess, the pros and the cons. First with the pros. The first half of this movie is very, very, very strong. It starts really fast. It's at a breakneck pace, and you actually feel the tension of Owen Wilson trying to protect his family, and Lake Bell as well. That's another pro that I feel. The acting in this film is very strong, surprisingly, coming from people that surprisingly don't belong in this genre. They handled it very well in a very realistic way that you kind of root for these characters, and it starts working for me. It had me on the edge of my seat for the first hour, and I was having a lot of fun with it. It's a very nice, it's a good looking movie. There's nothing visually amazing about the situation or about the way they filmed it. It's not a Wally Fitzer movie, but what are you gonna do? Pierce Brosnan, playing Pierce Brosnan, of course. He plays what seems to be not so much a take on James Bond, but a take on his character on The Matador. If you actually seen that movie, that's an amazing movie with Pierce Brosnan. Check it out, must see. But yeah, it's almost like a sequel to his character, what happened in The Matador.
Get to the wall! Get to the wall! Get down! Get down! Get down!
Okay. There's a gun tower across the street. Stay low. There's 4 of them in the tower. Now I'm going to draw fire. I want you to run like hell for that staircase. You understand me? You ready? You ready? Okay. Go!
Other than that, other than say the casting, because I really liked Owen Wilson and I like Lake Bell, and the children are just as good. And like I said, this movie has a lot of tension, and I will give it that the pacing is strong and it doesn't let up until the end of the movie. Now here comes the cons of the movie. After the first hour, it starts going into borderline stupidity. And to try to keep this interesting, the Dowdle brothers really just try to use every technique that I think they've been watching from their movies, from learning from other people, especially with the slow motion effects. They seem to be using the slow motion effect maybe about 5, 10, maybe even 15 times on one scene, and it gets extremely tiresome, and it starts dulling the movie out.
We gotta get over to that roof.
What? No way.
Annie, listen to me. What are we gonna do? We gotta do it. They're gonna come.
We're gonna hide there.
No, when they get through there, that's it. We're dead.
Jack,
okay.
no.
Over there, we have a chance.
Over there, we don't know if over there they're gonna be the same kind of people.
All I know is we gotta keep putting 10 steps between us and them, okay? If we stay here,
Oh, Jack, come on. That's crazy. That's crazy.
look at me. We're gonna die here. Please, we don't have a choice.
How?
You're gonna jump first, and I'm gonna throw the kids over one at a time. Then I'm gonna follow, okay? Come on, you can do this.
Okay, how?
Come on,
How?
right here. Just get up here. Right here. You're gonna get a good running start, and then you just jump it, okay?
Okay.
Stop! Get away! Stop!
Stop, she can do it. Go.
Situations with the family border from very tension-filled and realistic to really ridiculous situations, like this uprising out of nowhere. They don't have nothing but rocks and bats, while the police unit have shields and guns. Next thing you know, they the uprising, the rebels start beating them, taking their guns easily, and out of nowhere they have tanks. I don't know how they got a fucking tank, but a tank just pops up. And like out of nowhere, even though Owen Wilson is hidden in this building, the tank knows exactly where to aim it at motherfucking Owen Wilson. You go, what? How the fuck did this guy know?
There's a tank out there. We need to move.
What?
Hey, get that car! Yeah, come on! There's a tank! Right here. Here.
Go, go!
Come on.
Next thing you know, they got helicopters and all this types of crazy shit, and they are everywhere. But somehow, some way, they manage to get out, and it starts like I said, it starts getting really ridiculous, and it starts dulling the movie out. And at first, you're feeling like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens. Oh my gosh, this is insane. You're looking at your watch, you can't wait till it's over. Just say, I had an okay time, That's about it. I mean, I don't think the Dowdle brothers ever handled something like this. And like I said, this movie is considered to be very problematic, but it seems to be doing relatively well. It was sold to the Weinsteins for just $5 million, made $10 million in the opening weekend, which is good. I'm really happy that Owen Wilson and Lake Bell did something different in their careers. I think it shows something, or it shows that they can do a little bit more than what they're normally used to, which is comedy. And it gives this certain movie like a down to earth feel that you can actually relate to these characters, rather than having a Jason Statham being in the same situation. So I think that's actually like one of the best things in this film. Like I said, the ending borders into stupidity. I mean, and I'm just putting it mildly. This movie, to me, if I were to give it to a rating, which I am, I will probably give it 2.5 stars. And I'm just really being like nice about it, because the effort is here. The effort is put down from the Dowdle brothers trying to do something different. Now, like I said, with the Dowdle brothers, they mostly deal in horror films. So they go through the same steps of a horror film. And this movie's no different. It's just that instead of monsters or zombies, they're dealing with a rebel uprising. And they're treated as monsters. So I can see why people are pretty upset over the depiction of the community in this city. Isn't let alone country. But I actually didn't mind it so much. I mean, I understood why people are mad, but I don't mind it so much, and I think the effort's there. I think it's worth checking out, maybe as a rental. I wouldn't run to the movie theaters to go see it, but I wouldn't mind, recommending this as a red box and say, hey, check it out. You might see Owen Wilson in a different light. You never know. Yeah. So that's it for the show. We're gonna try to review a few more of these little crappy movies that are being dropped around August and September. I mean, we're gonna give it a good shot, but we can't wait till the big lineups come in. Black Mass, The Martian, The Walk. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of great stuff coming out, so we'll definitely be talking about it, and the crew's gonna be here to really put an incentive on it. So stay tuned. If you need to follow us, which I recommend you follow us on Twitter, it's RayMK, RayReimk. For PD, it's PDMK, PETEYMK. And Andy Mack is just at Andy Mack, ANDYMACKK. This is LiveWire. Catch you next time.
Get your head down! Look out!
You're alive, Jack.
Hey!
Just get your family the hell out of here.
We gotta get ourselves to the American Embassy. We can do that.
I want to go home.
We're gonna get there.